Welcome back to the Spirit Podcast. I'm so happy that you're here today. So, today I wanted to cover the topic of signs and are they real? I love talking about signs. I feel like I get this question a lot, especially in a reading. If I'm sitting across from somebody, they just want me to confirm with spirit that what they got from their person was a sign. And this is really sweet because it's like, I'm some authority or something. And sure, I've just given an evidential mediumship reading, so they know that their person is there. They very much sense them, feel them. Feel them is the most important part. Um, and I just think it's such a sweet question when it happens because it's like, of course it was them. And you don't need me to confirm that thought or confirm that intuition. So anytime you think it's a sign or you wonder if it's a sign, it is. That's the most important thing I want to get across today is spirit shows up and gives signs in so many different ways. And if you feel like you have a spark and a wondering, is that them? It absolutely is. And sometimes, like, one of the things about signs that I find to be true is that when you're telling somebody about them or the story and like the repeating of the experience, like waters it down or somehow isn't received in the same way. So it feels like you had to be there kind of moment. You know what I mean? When we tell somebody about it, it's never as potent as the moment of experiencing it. When, say, it's seeing somebody's initials in a license plate with the knowing and the feeling that your loved one is there. So, I'll share a couple of experiences that I had with signs where it was the most profound for me. But signs happen all the time, all day, in every way, in the most simple of ways and also the most magical and like gasping, I can't believe that happened. I have a friend who's very connected to rainbows, and anytime she sees a rainbow, she knows she's getting a communication from spirit. And I just adore that. And it's so true and it's very real for her. And, I think our thinking mind too, and the way that we're programmed as a society is to not believe these signs. So it's easy to be like, well, of course, rainbows it just happened to happen that day when she asked for it, or just happened to, rainbows are gonna happen. Coins are gonna be found on the ground. Feathers are gonna fall from birds flying in the sky. But that doesn't mean they still aren't signs from spirit, and that when you receive it, it is in that special moment and that way of that communion with the spirit world. So, I'm going to start off with one of my stories because I came home and I kind of shared it with my husband and I told him, and I think his response was like, "Oh, you have way too much time on your hands. Like you need to get, a day job or something." And it just had me cracking up because, um, I think that's how a lot of people feel. And so they kind of feel like, well, that wasn't real then, and like talk themselves out of the experience. Um, so I had, even though I'm a medium and I connect with the spirit world and I connect with my mom, I still, need mediumship readings from other people occasionally. And I still ask for signs to kind of have that tactile communication and kind of confirm that my mom is around. So I had asked her, "Hey, mom, like it's been a while. I want a sign." And I can't remember how many days went by. This might have been on the third or fourth day. And I'm in traffic. And I don't know what sign I was asking for, just something that I knew it would be her. And my mom used to have like a cow skull. Or I guess it must have been a bull skull. Um, and she had it hanging up in the living room like way before it was fashionable. And at a time where like I just never liked it. I just like didn't like it at all. I didn't think it was cool. Um, I'm a vegetarian myself, so I think I was always a little bit turned off by it too. I don't know. It was her style and not mine. Um, but she had it my whole life growing up, like right in the center of our living room. Didn't go with anything else, did not go with any decor. It was just this skull, this animal skull hanging. So, anyway, I'm in traffic and I hear the song come on the radio that's that song, I'm Still Alive. And I don't know who it's by, but it's like, um, the one that's like from the 90s, and it's like, I'm still alive. Oh, you know that one? Okay, I got to sing a little, so sorry if you had to cover your ears. Um, so I hear that on the radio. I felt a nudge to look to my left in traffic, which happened to be a semi-trailer with a bull or cow skull. I don't know the correct word for it, but it's like it got the horns, so I'm assuming that's a bull. Exactly like she had hanging up when I was little. Um, and then right in front of me, my mom used to drive a little red car, and it was a red car, and it had her initials on the license plate. All in this like one magical moment. On the radio, she's saying, I'm still alive. She's putting up this childhood communication that I no doubt is her and just sparked that's my mom. And then seeing her initials in the license plate right in front of me. And it was a Texas license plate. So she's from Texas. I'm from Texas. Um, all of that happening in that moment was so hugely profound, was absolutely my mom. It felt like time stood still for a moment. And I knew, and I was so grateful, and I brought tears to my eyes. What a gift these moments can be. And then sharing it with my husband, he like laughed it off like I was, like needed to go to the loony bin. So I just thought that it was a perfect example of how like those moments and those signs from spirit don't translate always. And so usually, if we're hearing other people's experience with signs, it can bring that programming up in us to be like, yeah, that's not real. They just happen to find that. However, don't discount that and like definitely ask spirit for signs. It's one of the things that I always encourage my clients and my students to do is engage with the spirit world, connect with the magic of the fabric of reality and ask for signs from spirit and you will get them, and ask for specific signs and you will get them. uh I also I'm constantly kind of scanning license plates. That's a way that I get a lot of communication from spirit, little messages or like little things. And not always, I'm not always looking at license plates, so it's like when I'm nudged to or feel like I'm paying attention, there's a reason. uh Sometimes I find coins, and sometimes I find coins with my birth year or my mom's birth year, and they're a little bit more special and spectacular, and I just know that it's her. I also think a lot of people connect that way and connect with finding feathers on the ground when they're missing their loved one. And music is a hugely common sign and a brilliant way that spirit connects with us. So, have you ever gotten in the car and turned on the vehicle, and then right at that moment, a song that just touches your heart comes on, or a specific lyric that you needed to hear is a message? That happens, and that's quite lovely. Sometimes in readings, I'll have spirit give the person a song. Oh, excuse me. Um, and I think maybe that song comes on later when the person needs it, even if it's like the version of Muzak in the elevator. I've heard that happening, and they just needed that song at that time. There's just there's just a million ways that spirit can communicate with you and does. I was just reading a People magazine article, and it was written by Sean Lennon, and it was an interview with him, and he was kind of talking about not really being a believer in the spirit world, which I thought was really interesting. And the article ended with him saying that he had a really magical moment in Hawaii when he turned on the radio, or started up the car, and the radio came on, and it was his dad's voice saying, "Darling, darling, darling, Sean from Beautiful Boy." And that moment made him feel like that was his dad communicating. And of course, I think the article ended with him saying, or maybe like he still wasn't sure. And I thought it was so sweet and made me giggle out loud, because how true is that for all of us? And even when I have these spectacular moments with spirit, when it's happening in the world that I'm getting these communications from the spirit world in a very tactile way, I can also laugh about it and think, I know it sounds ridiculous, and it sounds ridiculous to say. So I hope that he really, and I feel like he does hold that in his heart, that that was his dad communicating with him. And then I also think equally to state it in an article and to be accepted by mainstream or to be accepted by the general public, it's also nice to be like, I mean, perhaps, because none of us want to look crazy. None of us want to seem like we're not in touch with reality. And I think that it's just, it's sad that we can minimize our own experience or seemingly kind of dumb it down or feel like we have to talk about spirit communication like that, so that people don't think that we're too out there. And I really hope that in the future, it's just a lot more normalized, that spirit is constantly interacting with us because we are a part of the spirit world. The spirit world is a part of our world, and we're picking up on these little communications and subtle feelings and smells and dreams and senses because it all is very real. And so sometimes, especially for people starting out and students, I always like to say, ask for a sign and wait for it because you will get it. It is an interactive situation here with the spirit world. So, and it's also kind of using that evidential communication so that we know and trust and believe that we are in fact having this sacred communication. So I think that's why evidential mediumship is so important. We need this proof of heaven on earth. We need this proof that this is real communication. So signs are out there. Ask and you shall receive. Please comment on this video. What signs have you gotten from the spirit world? Was it a bird? Was it a cardinal? Is it a butterfly? Was it a song? How did spirit communicate with you? There's so many wonderful stories out there. I'm just so touched when I hear them because I also think it's brave to talk about them and keep normalizing this whole thing here. So comment below. If you don't want to do that, send me a message. I'd appreciate it. I love engaging in these conversations about spirit and spirit communication and how the spirit world is all around us all of the time. I hope you have a great day. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.